Okay, I'm starting again. 1, 2, 3.
Wait. Do I have to say salams also?
No, when
I reply Waalaikumsalam.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for tuning in to the first ever episode of Season 2 of the Careers Conversation podcast, where we talk on everything relating to educations, universities, and careers, helping students and professionals alike in making their next career decisions. I'm Sukaina Hemani, an auditor by profession, an advocate for education and youth, and I'll be your host this season. One of our main goals this season is to help students decide on where to study abroad, but not your go-to locations, rather some unconventional and untraditional destinations. And for that, we have our first guest, Sadiq Datoo. Sadiq, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for making the time to be here. I'm sure you have a lot to share with us and a lot that we can learn from you as well. So before we go ahead and get into our podcast, why don't you give us a quick debrief and a quick introduction on where you come from, what you've studied, where you've studied, and what you aspire to be as a profession.
Thank you so much, Sukaina. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. As Sukaina mentioned, I'm Sadiq Datoo, and I'm a final year student pursuing bachelor's degree in banking and finance, specializing in investment analytics in Malaysia. And I'm excited to be here and share my experience with you all today.
Earlier, you also mentioned to me that you are a science student in school, but you're actually majoring in banking and finance, which is a very interesting fact about you, and we'll slowly get into how you got to that position. But by now, I'm pretty sure the audience have realized that the location that we'll be exploring today is none other than Malaysia. So before we get into the nitty-gritties of our podcast, I'd like to map out the flow of our podcast. We'll be going through 4 main parts, one being choosing the unconventional destination and the personal values behind it. So how Sadiq went about in deciding Malaysia is going to be the place for his growth. 2, the opportunities and the cultures that are there in Malaysia. 3, the realities versus expectation in Malaysia. And last but not least, Sadiq's advice to students and parents alike. And hopefully by the end of which we'll have helped students and the audience help make a more informed decision and explore the possibility of studying in Malaysia a bit more better. So jumping right into part 1, breaking the norm and choosing an unconventional destination. Sadiq, before we get into understanding how you decided Malaysia is going to be your place, I think we want to understand the driving force behind you choosing an unconventional destination in the first place. Because typically students would opt for places like the UK or the US, but you went for an unconventional route way. So I want to understand, what is it that you are looking for that you couldn't get in the normal destinations? Or was there a point in time or a scenario that influenced you to go down and choose a rather unique and unconventional pathway?
Yeah, so as I was growing up, the expectations were pretty clear. Many people expected me to either study locally or go to Iran. Those were the familiar routes people understood and felt comfortable with. However, I had a feeling that I wanted something different, more than just familiarity. I wanted to explore a country that was both developed and developing in terms of infrastructure and technology as well as education. And also I was looking for a Muslim-friendly country where daily life will feel comfortable and normal. You see? So Malaysia had all what I wanted in terms of quality of education. It's a Muslim-friendly country and international exposure.
Yeah. So I think we can come down and say that the reason why, or the driving force of why you went to an unconventional route, was because you're looking for something different, not something that everyone's already doing, not something everyone's already familiar with. You're looking for somewhere where you could grow and kind of be out of your bubble and explore as well. Interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to get out of the comfort zone. Yeah?
Yes, definitely. Because as they say, growth and comfort can't go together.
Yeah, kabisa.
Yeah. So, and how did people react to it, particularly your family and parents in particular? Because there tends to be a lot of stigma and criticism on you going to, number one, going to study abroad in the first place, but also number two, not going to your regular destinations like the UK or the US, but rather going to Malaysia. So how did they react to it, and how did you handle that pressure?
Yeah, okay, so when I first informed my friends about my decision, they were genuinely happy, but at the same time sad, you know, when, during O levels or A levels, the friend circle you have,
Right.
you go for lunch breaks, and then you share your notes with each other.
Yeah.
You help each other when exams are approaching. Yeah, so, but it's part of life now. We all, at some point in life, will have different directions. So yes, and when my family were generally more, supportive, but also worried at the same time, because sending their
natural.
It's natural. Everyone's parents get worried. Sending their children abroad. It's not. It's something
not
really
easy,
big. It's not easy when you live with them. They'll be like, "Achogro kya rehse? Where will he live? What will he eat? What kind of environment will be in? What? Yeah." And there also some kind of social pressure where a few people questioned my decision and told me, "Why not just study locally and save costs?" But for me, it was not just about money. It was about international exposure, moving myself out of my comfort zone, as I told you before, and also I wanted to build that confidence in me, that independence. You see, how to live independently.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your parents were a bit concerned for sure, but they are also very supportive of you going to Malaysia. Okay. So now that we know your driving force behind going to an international location that is not in your regular pathway or traditional routeway, let's come to Malaysia specifically, because first we were talking about why you chose an unconventional routeway in the first place. So for Malaysia specifically, I know you briefly mentioned this earlier, but if we can go through it again, what were some of the key values or priorities that you had in mind when you were selecting a place to study abroad? And in this case, of course, Malaysia. So sort of like a checklist that other students could also refer to, that you had at the back of your mind, that helped you sort of navigate on deciding whether and why Malaysia would be the place to be.
Yeah, so when I started seriously considering Malaysia, I had a few priorities in my mind. One of them was affordability, safety, Muslim-friendly country, and as well as good education quality. So in terms of affordability, it's really important because, your parents are sending you abroad. You don't want them to feel the financial pressure on them, you see?
Definitely.
At the same time, it allows you, living in, going to an affordable country, it allows you to focus on studies without constantly worrying about finances.
Yeah.
And
finance is definitely a very important factor as well.
Very, very important factor. And then safety was also very important because you go abroad, you have to make sure the environment you live, it's safe completely. Of course, no country is 100% safe.
Yeah, for sure.
We all know. So yeah.
So if I can summarize it, the checklist that you had at the back of your mind when you were deciding a location is the affordability that's there, the safety of the location, the faith, the culture, practice, and of course the opportunities that are there in that country. Right? And just to keep it out there, because there tends to be a lot of bias on getting a degree from a place that's not the UK or US, how well recognized is the Malaysian degree? Does it mean if I was to study at Malaysia for a degree in comparison to studying at UK, the degree I got at Malaysia held less weight and less importance than the one at these other famous locations? Or is it really just the same? It's just a degree, it's just that the countries are different and the experiences are different.
So Sukaina, one thing I've realized is that sometimes sometimes the best decisions are not the most popular ones. they are the ones that align with your goals and values. Because if the destination doesn't meet your goal, does not align with your goals and values, it's not worth it. Yeah. So what I like specifically about APU is how straightforward and practical the programs are. So since my specialization is investment analytics, that's where my interest lies. I'm not sure if other universities offer this kind of specialization, but a lot of universities offer dual degree programs. But I chose APU because the level of specialization is self-important to me, because I'm aspiring to become an investment banker, inshallah. So yes. So another big factor is my program is aligned with 70% of CFA level 1. So CFA is globally recognized in finance.
Yes.
So it provides me with a strong foundation. So if I decide to pursue CFA level 1, I'm not starting from zero knowledge. I'm starting at some level of knowledge. Yeah. And on top of that, my program also includes fintech modules.
Okay.
Fintech stands for financial technology, where technology is being used to provide financial services. So yeah, in this constantly evolving industry, finance is really important, especially
Definitely,
today.
yes.
Because nowadays, finance is not just about numbers. It's about technology. It's about data and analytics. So yeah.
So there's nothing about having a degree in Malaysia weighs less than having a degree from another popular country. What matters is the degree itself.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, as you mentioned, where you went to study, or where you are currently studying right now, you're actually specializing very well. You've chosen a degree that's really aligned to what you want to be. So there's no difference in the weight of the degree. In fact, we might as well go as far and say that the weight might be even heavier. It might be a heavier weight. The degree that you're doing right now might be more better than if you had gone to maybe UK or the US to get your degree.
Yeah.
Jumping right into part 2 now, let's talk on the opportunities and culture at Malaysia. So when we talk of opportunities, a person like me likes to use the word ROI, return on investment. What was the return you got by investing in studying in Malaysia? So before we talk on the returns, let's talk on the investment side. What were some of the investments that you had to do, the costs that you had to incur to study abroad, and in particular in Malaysia? Of course, apart from the tuition fees for the university, what other investments did you have to make?
Okay. So, when you tell people, I'm studying abroad, first thing they'll say is it's very expensive over there,
Yes.
Yeah, even me, I assume the same. It's like I thought Malaysia was really expensive, but when I stepped down over there, it's not as expensive as compared to European countries. Of course, when you compare to studying locally, it's expensive, but compared to European countries and other popular destinations, it's not as expensive. Yeah. So I'll just brief you on how the student visa process is. So it's handled by EMGS.
Okay.
EMGS is a body. It stands for Education Malaysia Global Services.
Okay.
It handles or manages the international students. So it involves 2 stages, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 is on securing your offer letter, and stage 2 is applying for a student pass. So these 2 stages cost around 800 to 900 US dollars, which is equivalent to 3,500 Malaysian ringgits.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to living costs, at least 900,000 Tanzanian shillings.
A month?
A month, yeah.
Okay.
Now it depends on the accommodation type and also the lifestyle you want. Yeah. Because when I first initially had gone to Malaysia, I was living on campus, and it's pretty expensive. Because everything is convenient over there. But after 6 months, some Tanzanian friend had called me, and he was like, "Hey, I have a room available." So but not everyone. You have to make sure when you go abroad, you have to make sure you get the right friends. Yeah.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So before I said yes to him, I had gone to see the area, the environment, the people over there. Yeah. So living cost, like including rent and food, 900,000 shillings at least.
At
yeah.
least. For
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable. Yeah. And when it comes to tuition fees, the tuition fees for my program each year is around 9,500 US dollars.
Okay.
However, if you have good A-level results, yeah, they'll give you scholarship in first year. And if you maintain a GPA or if you get a GPA of 3.7 and above, your fees will drop to around 5,500 US dollars. So yeah, it's a good opportunity, you know. You should work hard and balance your life, social life also. It will help you reduce the financial burden. You see, your parents, kidogo, they'll feel less stressful. You see,
Yeah.
they'll feel less stressed, and you know, it allows you to focus on studies without constantly worrying. Paisa, you know.
So it's like a 2-in-1 win where you study hard, you work hard. That benefits you as a person, but also it benefits you by getting you stuff like scholarships, having your fees reduced if you're studying well.
Yeah.
So the main investments that were there were the student visa, the tuition fees, and rent, and just living over there in general. All right, so let's come towards the opportunity now. In terms of being in Malaysia, what are some of the opportunities that are there that people don't know about? You know, if we can speak generally and then we can go into the career pathways. But in general, what other opportunities are there in Malaysia?
Okay. So one of the biggest opportunities people overlook is exposure. Malaysia is extremely multicultural in such a way that you'll see different people from different backgrounds. They come from different cultures. All are blending in together. They are living a normal life. Like, it's really surprising to me. Like, wow. Of course, in Tanzania there is, but not that much. But over there you'll see people from different backgrounds, different cultures, all interacting together. You know, it builds that adaptability and confidence in interacting with people from different backgrounds. Yeah.
So it's the exposure and the cultural exposure in particular that's the main opportunity that's there, that you get to learn a lot from for your personal growth as well as your career and emotional growth as well, right?
So another big factor is independence. Living abroad teaches you how to manage your time, finances, and responsibilities. Over time, it builds that maturity and self-discipline that will forever stick with you as you grow, even after you graduate. So this is one of the biggest opportunities also, living abroad.
And in terms of career progress, how well would you say the accessibility of the career pathway is over there? I know you mentioned you're doing an internship over here, but does that mean students who are studying at Malaysia can't do an internship over there? How accessible is the pathway there? But also again, let's say they want to do a postgraduate degree, how could they do it there? Is that option available? How accessible is everything in general?
So internship opportunities are available. So they usually prioritize, they give it to locals first, followed by international students. However, that doesn't mean you don't get the opportunity to do an internship over there. Of course, you can stand out if you have a good CGPA, you have done extracurriculars, you're part of student organization, you can get the opportunities. So last year I was part of this career fair where big four companies, they had come, but I had asked them, is it possible for me to apply there? They're like, you can apply next year because they're changing the rules. They'll be allowing international students.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's very good.
So hopefully
news.
by this year now, I hope so, they do accept international students. So yeah, I'm doing internship here because I have my personal preferences.
So it's not like they completely don't allow international students to do internships. Even if you're an international student, you could do an internship there, but it's just that they have a preference for locals first.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, this year onwards, they're changing that, and now it's also going to be open to international students completely.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So that's something important to keep in mind when we talk of studying in Malaysia. So those were the opportunities and investments. Let's move on to the culture and adaptability. As someone who studied at both Tanzania as well as Malaysia. How different is the work culture or the study culture that's there? Do you think that it personally helped shape you a bit better in terms of career progress, personal progress, you know?
Yeah. So the culture is similar to Tanzania.
Okay.
However, Malaysia is more structured and time oriented. You know, in Tanzania, we go on that statement where we say, haraka haraka haina baraka, pole pole ndio mwendo. But in Malaysia, you can say haraka haraka haina baraka, because the reason is that the systems are put into place so efficiently, things go on time to time. Over here, there's more room for adjustment, you know, you're flexible. Over there, everything goes time to time, like.
It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, the systems, the way they have placed the system is very efficient, like proper. Of course, Tanzania will also one day will become more. We are efficient, I can see, but not as compared to in Malaysia.
So that really boosted your efficiency as well, your productivity as well.
Yeah, it actually helped me become more organized in terms of how I'm approaching my studies and other responsibilities. Yeah.
Which is a very important skill, because even as you go ahead and become a professional, even right now as I'm working, being able to manage and prioritize everything and be efficient in what you do is something that's very important to help things flow smoothly. So that's something very good that you got out of Malaysia for sure. And not only academically, but also how's the culture like in general over there? You know, every country comes with different traditions, different holidays, different ways of doing stuff. I'm sure you might have experienced some cultural shocks maybe over there, or I don't know, what's the nightlife like in Malaysia, if I may rephrase it?
So in terms of culture, Malaysia is very modern, but at the same time you'll notice people grounded in their traditions and attire. It's really nice to see that, you know, so developed. You see building skyscrapers everywhere.
Moving on to the realities versus expectations, you know, when we tend to go study abroad, we tend to have a lot of expectations that are there, but when you go there, reality hits, and things may be different for better or worse. So before we go into the expectations of yours that were maybe shattered or maybe met, let's talk on something about this country that really surprised you, something that you didn't know until you went there and you saw that.
So one thing that really surprised me is how multicultural is Malaysia. You'll see a mix of cultures. You'll see Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, all living together, sharing the same spaces and celebrating each other's festivals. Like it's completely normal, you see. You'll see it in your daily life as you go, as you live in Malaysia. It's very normal. Yeah.
So it's like, for example, how in Tanzania we have the Maasais, but we don't usually see them walking around everywhere. Are you meaning to say that when you go to Malaysia, you actually see a lot of the traditional people around wearing their traditional outfits everywhere?
Yeah, Kabisa, they are so blended in, like it feels so natural, you know. It feels like you're in a different part of world.
So yet it's modern, but at the same time it's also so culturally in depth and rooted to its cultures. Interesting. And when we come back to the expectations that were either shattered or met, which I'm hoping, can you give us some of these expectations?
So one of my expectations that was positively shattered was I expected Malaysia to be very expensive. Like I didn't think of it like it's gonna be, you know, affordable. Like I did not think about that. But when I stepped down over there, living costs were affordable, and of course they give scholarships, and Alhamdulillah also I got scholarship in my first year and second year. So the cost went pretty down. Yeah.
So you mentioned that there's a lot of cultural differences. Well, not differences, but rather a diverse culture that's over there, and obviously the realities, expectations are a bit different here and there. Not to a very high extent, but yeah, you had to navigate through all these differences being in a new country. What are some of the things that you learned when you're navigating through all of this?
So number one, I learned how to be adaptable. because you have to learn how to function in a completely new environment. Everything is unfamiliar, from opening a bank account to applying for a concession card, where we international students get 50% discount when we use public transport.
Okay.
I learned patience is really important over there, especially when navigating formal processes in structured environments. Because here in Tanzania, when we are around our family, everything, they are there, they can help you out. Panwa patience badu pote karu pare. Everything goes systematically. And I also learned. It gave me some kind of confidence. You see, when you learn to thrive in a completely different environment, you realize that you're capable of much more than you can.
Think.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So I think we can say it really helped boost your confidence, make you more independent as a person, and really get you out of your bubble.
Yeah.
And push to your limits. Not your limits, to your furthest extents, we should say.
Yeah.
Right? So we've been having a very long round of very detailed Q&As. I think it's time to do a quick short round of general rapid fire questions. Nothing to stress about. So you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so number one. What is one of the biggest myths about studying in Malaysia that you debunked yourself?
One of the biggest myths, people said degrees are not global. Now, if you see my university, a lot of universities offer dual degree programs, especially linked with UK universities. Now, you see, it's globally recognized. If it was not globally recognized, there wouldn't be a UK linked program. You see? Yeah.
So global recognition.
Yeah, global.
Okay. And what type of student do you think is going to thrive there versus what type of student do you think is going to struggle studying at Malaysia?
So the person who will find more comfortable living over there, a person that values balance, someone that studies but as well as balances with social life. Yeah, you have to understand that going abroad, you're not going to study only. You're going to understand how things work over there. You have when you go abroad, you have to think in such a way that what will I gain over there that you can bring it back to Tanzania. And
so a student with such a mindset would definitely thrive there.
Yeah.
And which one would struggle?
Someone that is used to spoon-fed, that needs constant supervision. In universities, it usually does not work like that. You have to be independent. You have to learn how to do things by yourself. કોઈ નહીં હોય help કરા બધું પોતે કરવું પડે. And someone that's not open to different cultures, someone that is not open to different ways people think and live, it will be very difficult for that kind of person to live in Malaysia. You have to be open-minded. You have to accept everything. Of course, challenges are everywhere. Challenges are everywhere. You can't expect no challenges to come in your life. Everyone has some kind of challenge.
So I would actually go ahead and put it in a way that for the student that would struggle studying there because they have certain 1, 2, 3 qualities, I would say that is now the reason why you have to go study at Malaysia in the first place, because this is where you will experience all these things, meeting different cultures, being more open-minded, being more independent. So if you're someone that wants to break through these negative habits, go study abroad. And in this case, go study in Malaysia, right? Next, if you had a chance to go back in time and re-choose the country that you want to study in, would you still choose Malaysia?
Of course, why not?
Okay.
It's affordable in terms of cost. You don't want to put that financial pressure on your parents. They are working hard, and then you have to understand also. Yeah, they also sometimes might be worrying about finances, but parents loka na ke kasi chokro ne tension thase. So when we have to keep it at the back of our mind, ki affordable country peru chij joan hoy important che. When it's affordable, it allows you to focus on your studies also. Yeah, because I don't know, but if you go to European countries, let's say I'm spending around $12,000 in Malaysia per year. 12,000 to 13,000. But I don't know, I'm not sure, but I feel like those who go to UK or the US, maybe they might be spending twice or thrice. I don't know, maybe.
We'll find out in one of the other episodes we might have.
Yeah, and also the climate over there is just like Tanzania, but it's more of humid. You know, it rains so frequently, thunderstorms. Over there, one thing I've noticed, everyone carries umbrellas. You know, when we go to school, we keep water bottles in the side of our bags. Over there, people hold water bottles in their hand. Umbrellas are there.
Umbrellas are in the bag.
Yeah.
Nice. So overall, you definitely go back to
Yeah,
Malaysia
of course.
if you had to choose again. Right. So we've seen the drive behind you going to an unconventional location in the first place, the values you had for choosing Malaysia as your country. We talked about the culture and opportunities that are there at Malaysia, some of the realities versus expectations that you had at Malaysia. Let's now move on to the final part, which is you giving advice to students and parents alike. So Sadiq, if there was someone on the fence of choosing Malaysia as their study destination, what advice would you give to them in terms of selecting the country, whether they should go for it or not? But also, number two, what advice would you give in terms of them making the most out of it when they're already there?
Yeah. So, as I said previously, you know, sometimes the best decisions are not the most popular ones.
Decisions.
Yeah. So
I
now
think we need that written down somewhere.
Yeah, we need to write it down, because you know, you have to make sure it aligns with your goals and values. Yeah, Malaysia has a lot of opportunities, but if you sit there and just let things go by itself, you will end up just getting a degree and you get back home, it's not. I wouldn't.
Which kills the purpose of you being in an international location.
Yeah, like you have to learn something. Yeah, get some experience, meet other people, network with people. You know, talk with professionals. You get ideas. You know. So you never know, you know, those people who you're networking with may be a business partner in future.
You never know.
Yeah, so I really recommend going to Malaysia, but sitting idle and waiting for opportunities to come to you by itself, it won't happen like that. You have to struggle a bit. Yeah.
You have to take action for sure.
You have to take action.
And what advice would you give to parents when they have their kids coming up to them and telling them, I want to go study abroad? Number one, on the line of studying abroad just gives so many questions and doubts to parents, but also number two, when that child comes down and says, oh, I want to go to Malaysia, not the regular UK, US, what advice would you give to parents when they have children who want to go there, how they could be supportive enough, you know?
So I speak Gujarati since it's an advice to parents. So જ્યારે હું બોલું અફોર્ડેબલ છે એનો મતલબ નથી ક્વોલિટી લો છે કે સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ લો છે. So if your son wants to, or your son or daughter wants to come to Malaysia, write down the priorities. શું છે priority અને શું ખપે છે. So as I mentioned my priorities that came in my mind before I had seriously started considering Malaysia. So I also suggest write down the priorities. શું તમારા છોકરાને કે તમારી છોકરીને શું આ લોકોનો શું પ્રાયોરિટીઝ છે, આ લોકો શું ગોતે છે મલેશિયામાં. ને બીજું ચીજ છે કે આપણે અફોર્ડેબલ બોલે છે, અફોર્ડેબલ ડઝન્ટ મીન લો ક્વોલિટી. બધા યુરોપમાં જાય છે એનો મતલબ નથી કે મલેશિયા અફોર્ડેબલ છે કે લો ક્વોલિટી છે કે લો સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ છે. ઇટ્સ નોટ લાઈક દેટ. You know, like me, when I was looking for this destination, I prioritized my goals and values. Yeah, because you're not, at the end of the day, you're not choosing a country, you're choosing an environment where you will be living in for a few years. Yeah, આપણે હમણાં બોલતા હોય છે કે એક્સાઇટેડ છું મને જાવું છે આ country, પણ બીજા 6 મહિના રહીને આવી જાય છે પાછું.
Very true.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot of times.
આવી જાય છે, આ લોકો ડિપ્રેસ થઈ જાય છે. કેમ? Because આ લોકો they did not plan ahead. You see, હંમેશા પ્લાન અહેડ કરો કે હાઉ ડુ યુ વ્યૂ યોર સેલ્ફ એઝ ઇન 3-4 years. તમારો છોકરો રહી શકશે એમાં, તમારી છોકરી રહી શકશે 3-4 વર્ષમાં બહાર ગામ. it's really important, you know. Sometimes we are so excited we forget thinking that આપણે 3-4 વર્ષમાં બહાર કાઢવાનું છે. Yeah, આપણે થાય છે આ શોર્ટ ડ્યુરેશન માટે નથી આ. It's you know, you have to stay there for long. Yeah, so બધું જવું પડે. Yeah.
So it's not behind always chasing European countries, the conventional destinations, but like if your child comes up and says they want to go to Malaysia or Mauritius, you know, some other unconventional route way, there is no problem in it. It doesn't mean that the degree is worthless. Number two, it would actually mean that that environment is a bit more comfortable for them to actually thrive and live in comparison to the UK and US, depending on everyone's ability to be in different environments. So your advice is for parents, if I can just sum it up, for parents to definitely be supportive of their children's choices, but also, if I can say, assist them in making a good decision. Like how Sadiq said, we tend to forget that we're going to be there for like 3-4 years, and we're just excited on the decision that, oh, I'm going to Canada or something like that. But can you live there? Can you live and thrive in that environment? Are you able to afford it? Are you able to be comfortable over there? Yes, it is about getting out of your comfort zone, but let's be real, we're talking about 3-4 years. So it has to be somewhere that you can really thrive in and grow in. So parents should be more supportive. And in fact, it would actually help make their kids make better decisions if they were to also guide them that, look, you want to go here, but there's 1, 2, 3 in mind. Can you do this over there? Is it going to be comfortable for you over there?
Yeah. So they need to imagine as if they've explored the country already, they want to go, and then the decision comes that, will you be able to stay in Malaysia after you have explored everywhere? You have visited new places. Are you sure? Will you be able to stay there? You know, have that kind of question in your brain. It will help you.
So this for both parents and students to keep in mind, for sure. So I think we can come down to concluding and summarizing that the decision to study abroad is one that's very important and a very good one as well, which in this case is studying at Malaysia, because it's not just the degree that you're getting, but rather a complete life experience that you are going to get over there. You're going to be with people, you'll have and learn different ways of thinking, talking, interacting with people, living with people, which sort of keeps you out of your bubble, helps you break through your shell, and really helps with personal development, character development, as well as emotional development. So Sadiq, thank you so much for making the time to be here.
Thanks to you as well.
I'm pretty sure you've added a ton of value to our viewers, and I hope that the viewers are now able to navigate the possibilities of studying in Malaysia a bit better. So thank you for being here. This marks the end of our episode. Until then, keep exploring your opportunities and see you in the next episode.